Okay, so last unit we were analyzing historical context with Of Mice and Men. In this unit, it's going to be an argument-based unit, okay? So, sorry, Faith, hold on. This is based on its argument, okay? So we're going to be analyzing arguments, how do you achieve your purpose in an argument, and how to write an argument, okay? AKA an argumentative essay. So if you don't know what that is, we're going to have some learning to do. The next thing it's based on is freedom, okay? So, like, the name of the unit is freedom actually free? Okay, if you think about all the terms together, is freedom truly free? So, it asks you to consider whether freedom is truly free. I just said that, I didn't need to repeat that. So, you're going to read the following quote by Frederick Douglass. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. So, think about what he's saying. If there is no struggle, then there is no progress, okay? First, if you don't know who Frederick Douglass is, you should probably Google him. Okay, because you won't necessarily know how to respond to that quote unless you know who he is. After reading the quote, discuss whether or not you agree with the quote or not and explain why in at least 100 words. Then respond to at least 2 others in 50 words or more. Use academic language. You guys know sentence frames and know how to do this. Okay, so go ahead and get to work. Or Belle, if you want to do it, where is it? Oh, well that's probably not good. Hey, Ava. Okay. Okay, so Ava, we're going to review rhetoric. So grab a computer and you either need to take notes on a document like this when you copy it, or you need to, is it blank, Faith, when you copied it? Oh, that's not the document. The next thing. So this is what the document should look like. So you're going to be including all the different types of rhetoric, okay, or rhetorical devices, and then you're going to be describing them, all right? Yes, so that's what we're going over right now. You're going to need this for Wednesday when we actually... What is going on? You're going to need this chart on Wednesday when we actually analyze it. So Johnny, Nate, close the computers. You guys can take notes on paper because I don't trust them.
Yeah. As far as like
rhetorical devices. Okay, yes. Robin, darling.
Persuasive speech.
Okay, so we use rhetoric and persuasion. Okay? So, for example, are you done doing that? Okay, cool. You just go put it on my desk. Or you save it first. For example, if I want you guys to do something, I typically have certain ways to do it. So if I'm trying to get you guys to buy into a lesson, sometimes I would be like, okay, how does this pertain to your real life? Right? I've done it before. Or sometimes I'm like, the United States government has determined that every single freshman needs to do this, right? Sometimes I'll kind of persuade you with that. You need the perspective. Or sometimes I will even give you, or I'll persuade you with like threats or prayers, right? Like, this is a 25-point assignment, so you should probably do that a lot. I see that. Okay? So those are all ways that you can use rhetoric. So, what is rhetoric? It's the art of finding ways to persuade an audience, okay? So rhetoric is how you get someone to do something. Look at me. It's important, okay? How do you guys get your mom to let you stay the night at a friend's house? How do you do it? Okay, so you do good things before in order to get what you want. Okay, Nate.
get good grades.
So you get good grades. How do you ask, Reagan?
I really just ask. I don't have to do anything. I just walk up and be like, hey.
So if you were
spoiled.
if you were
get down on your knees and you
that's
and
for
you
real.
make promises to do things.
Yes.
I do.
Or, for example, how do you get me to give you your phone back or persuade you not to take your phone? Reagan, what do you always
Look
say?
at it.
You don't take it out.
Stuff.
No,
Texting
or you
your
say I'm
parents.
doing stuff that's related to school, or you say I'm texting my mom, and I say, okay, finish your text and then put it away, right? So you're persuading me by being like, it's my mom, it's fine. Okay, I just looked at it was your grandma that time.
Yeah, because
Okay.
my mom's working and I'm having one to pick me up from school, so she was yelling at me and she's like,
You're
"Oh, your grandma!"
You're persuading
So
right now.
she wasn't even answering.
Okay, so why is this funny? Let's look at this comic. Daniel, stay with me. So it says, the old persuasive approach is out. From now on, they put out their campfires where you bite them. Okay, why is this funny?
That's not
That's Smokey the Bear. And what is Smokey the Bear used for?
campfire stuff.
Campfire stuff. To persuade people to make sure to put out their campfires when they're camping or they're going to burn down the entire forest. Okay? So he's saying the old persuasive approach is out. You're going to bite them. So no longer are you fun, Smokey the Bear. You're going to eat them if they don't put out their fires.
I like it.
Okay? So do you see how the rhetoric has changed from, please turn out your fires, to my bear friend's going to eat you? Okay? Where is rhetoric used? Essays? Yeah. Okay? Argumentative essays. To persuade your mom to let you stay the night at a friend's house, or get your phone back, or give you money. Hayden?
Like using commercial.
Yeah? So what's a good commercial that really gets you?
Like,
Apple? Okay.
I don't know. Like if you're using like hair product, if you want to use like a model who has good hair or something.
Yes.
Even though your hair doesn't look
So
that good.
we're going to get to that. That's actually called ethos, and that's the appeal to credibility. Okay. So if a model has good hair, you're going to want to buy the product because she's a credible model, right? So we talked about this a lot. Same thing with like Instagram. When you guys see ads from like celebrities that you follow, you're more likely to buy that product, right? Because you trust that celebrity. Okay?
I was gonna say that one commercial about the Vikings where they're all singing the like orchestra thing, like something need cash now, called something.
Oh, that one uses jingles, right?
Yeah.
So advertisements and commercials, like Hayden brought up. Social media rhetoric is used. Okay, think of the way, like the caption. You think your caption game, right? Captions can be difficult, but that's where a lot of focus is put in. How you're going to caption your photos. Speeches and videos. Okay, every time I talk to you guys, I'm thinking of rhetoric. And documentaries. There's so much more. Okay, so we're going to watch a video really quick. How to use rhetoric to get what you want. Eyeballs should be on the board.
I love
How do you get what you want?
How do you get what you want using just your words?
Aristotle
Aristotle set out to answer exactly that question over 2,000 years ago with a treatise on rhetoric. Rhetoric, according to Aristotle, is the art of seeing the available means of persuasion. And today we apply it to any form of communication. Aristotle focused on oration, though, and he described three types of persuasive speech. Forensic or judicial rhetoric establishes facts and judgments about the past, similar to detectives at a crime scene. Epidictic or demonstrative rhetoric makes a proclamation about the present situation, as in wedding speeches. But the way to accomplish change is through deliberative rhetoric, or symboleticon. Rather than the past or the present, deliberative rhetoric focuses on the future. It's the rhetoric of politicians debating a new law by imagining what effect it might have. Like when Ronald Reagan warned that the introduction of Medicare would lead to a socialist future spent telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free. But it's also the rhetoric of activists urging change, such as Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream that his children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. In both cases, the speakers present their audience with a possible future and try to enlist their help in avoiding or achieving it. But what makes for good deliberative rhetoric besides the future tense? According to Aristotle, there are three persuasive appeals.
Okay, so this is important. According to Aristotle, there are three persuasive appeals. So when you're trying to get somebody to do something, there are three ways you can persuade them, okay? So when it comes to your chart, you should probably get these going.
Ethos,
Ethos, logos, and pathos.
Ethos
Ethos is how you convince an audience of your credibility. Winston Churchill began his 1941 address to the U.S. Congress by declaring, "I have been in full harmony all my life with the tides which have flowed on both sides of the Atlantic against privilege and monopoly," thus highlighting his virtue as someone committed to democracy. Much earlier, in his defense of the poet Archias, Roman consul Cicero appealed to his own practical wisdom and expertise as a politician. Drawn from my study of the liberal sciences and from that careful training to which I admit that at no part of my life I have ever been disinclined. And finally, you can demonstrate disinterest, or that you're not motivated by personal gain. Logos is the use of logic and reason.
So ethos was an appeal to credibility. Alright? So by that, I'm an English teacher, right? What is the subject I cannot do that you all know? Math. I cannot for the life of me do math, okay? If I walked over to Algebra 2 and I started to teach the lesson, would I have the same credibility Miss Good has?
No.
Absolutely not, okay? So you're going to trust me a lot more in this class than if I went over to Miss Good's class. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's why in advertisements, for example, they'll use a celebrity to be the spokesperson because there's an ounce of credibility, okay? Now we're on to logos. This is the second appeal. An appeal to credibility. So using credibility, okay? That's why, like, if you see an ad for, like, a new pharmaceutical drug for, like, asthma or something, it's a person in a white doctor's coat talking, right? All right, here's logos.
Method can
employ rhetorical devices such as analogies,
Oh, let me go back,
examples,
so I can do
and
it.
citations of research. Method can employ rhetorical device use of logic and reason.
is the use of
Not motivated by personal gain.
Logos
is the use of logic and reason.
Okay, so logos is the use of logic and reasoning in order to persuade your audience, okay? So how do you use logic or reasoning in order to get your point across and persuade your audience?
This method can employ
rhetorical devices such as analogies, examples, and citations of research or statistics.
But it's
not just facts and figures. It's also the structure and content of the speech itself.
The
point is to use factual knowledge to convince the audience, as in Sojourner Truth's argument for women's rights. I have as much muscle as any man, and can do as much work as any man. I have plowed and reaped and husked and chopped and mowed, and can any man do more than that?
Unfortunately,
So did you guys get that? So she was logically arguing that, yeah, I work too, yeah, I'm a human too, how come I can't vote and men can? That's logical reasoning, okay? You're using logic in order to persuade your audience. So logic might be like, for example, the sophomores, I made them handwrite their timed right essays on Friday. And I made them handwrite it because on your SAT you cannot type your essay, okay? So do you see how by logic, I'm logically explaining why we're doing something and using logic to rationalize and persuade to them why we'd be doing this?
speakers can also manipulate people with false information that the audience thinks is true,
Such as the debunked but still widely believed claim that vaccines cause autism.
And finally,
Pathos appeals to emotion, and in our age of mass media, it's often the most effective mode.
So, look at me, everybody, look at me. Okay, the root word path, P-A-T-H, tell me another word that's in. Rowan? Pathology, okay, would you say, Tony? Empathy. Okay, what is empathy? Yeah, so empathy means to understand someone else's emotions, okay? So the root word path means emotion. Same thing as pathological, it has to do with emotion, okay? So pathos, it means emotion. So it's using an emotion. You guys seen those SPCA commercials with the dogs crying? That's appealing to your emotion.
Pathos
is neither inherently good nor bad, but it may be irrational and unpredictable.
It can
just as easily rally people for peace as incite them to war.
Most advertising,
From beauty products that promise to relieve our physical insecurities to cars that make us feel powerful, relies on pathos. Aristotle's rhetorical appeals still remain powerful tools today,
but deciding which of them to use is a matter of knowing your audience and purpose.
purpose, as well as the right place and time. And perhaps just as important is being able to notice when these same methods of persuasion are being used on you.
Yes. Aristotle's 3 appeals to emotion, or three appeals to persuasion. There's more we're going to go over here.
Wasn't there 3 before those 3
No.
that we didn't know?
They were just talking about different ways that rhetoric is used. Okay? So let's look at this ad. Everybody look at it. Everybody look at it. It says, gee, I wish I were a man. I'd join the Navy. Be a man and do it. United States Navy.
Try to make them sound so bad.
Okay? So this was an actual ad in World War II. So what is it trying to do? What's it trying to persuade? Men to do what? Join the Navy. And how is it doing it?
Like making them feel bad.
Okay, think
I
of
like pathos.
Okay, why is it pathos?
Because it's appealing to the emotion, like they're going to be like sad or disappointed with themselves if like the woman would join the Navy, but I won't.
Yeah, so someone said guilt trip. Who said that? Caleb? They're like guilt tripping men like, a woman would join. Why wouldn't you, right? So yes, it's using pathos. Could it also be using logos, logic? Yeah. Because she's saying, I wish I were a man. I'd join the Navy, right? So then the men would logically be persuaded like, well, if a woman would join, then I sure as heck would join. Okay? Could it also be ethos? Yeah, you could say there's appeal to credibility because she's wearing a sailor suit. All right. So here's one of our appeals. So on your chart, write down figurative language. Okay? We've been over figurative language. Figurative language is when it's not literal. Okay? So when you understand something, but it's not literal. So if we look at the comic, Spider-Man is up on the wall and he says, yeah, I'm still babysitting. These kids are driving me up the wall. Okay? Is he literally being driven up the wall? No, he's not being. In this comic, yes. But if you say, you guys are driving me up the wall. Okay? You're not making me go up the wall. You're making me crazy. It's figurative language. Just like, have you ever had a parent say, I'm on my last straw, kid. Yeah, you pushed my last button. Okay? Your mom doesn't have like a bunch of buttons and there's one left.
How do you know?
Right? Yeah, I'm up to here. That's all figurative language, okay? We're going to go over all of these. You guys, we've been over these before, but we're going to review. Okay?
Are all of these going to be terms for that?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Just put figurative language, okay? Does anyone want me to review any of these? You've reviewed these at the class before. Metaphors and similes are ways to compare. Okay, what's the difference? Similes use like or as. So,
How would we write them right?
you don't have figurative language. These are just examples of figurative
What about
language.
the left box?
So in the left box,
The
you would write
definition.
figurative language.
Yes, and
And in
the
the right
definition.
box, you would write the definition.
So what is figurative language?
What's that? Just
Not being, not being literal.
Yes.
Just being like, not.
You're being figurative.
Yeah.
Okay. Hyperbole. What's hyperbole? What's hyperbole? Gil? It's an over-exaggeration. Okay. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Oh, I woke up this morning and I only got 30 minutes of sleep. No, you got more sleep.
I actually saw one of them.
It was pitch black outside this morning when we all woke up, right? So the time changed? No, it wasn't pitch black. So do you see how we're dramatizing something? Huh?
What if you don't have that
So it was pitch black, so you can see your hand from your face. Personification. Personification is to give something not human, human-like qualities. Okay. Onomatopoeia is when a sound is actually written as the word. So like dang, boom, crack. Okay. You can't really describe those things as such what they are. Puns. Okay, let's talk about it. Play on words. Imagery. What's imagery? Nate, put it away. If I see it again, I will take it. Oh, okay, using the long thing.
Well, I can
Oh.
literally show you that.
I don't care. I'm just saying. I don't see it. Imagery. Okay, that's when the reader gets an image, a smell, a sound based off of the reading. Mary. Oh, sorry. Okay, I was trying to go through it really quick. Okay, so Aristotle's appeals, ethos, logos, and pathos. Do we need to go over those again? Okay. Yeah, Johnny.
So real quick, going back to the I'm so hungry I could eat a horse
Yeah.
thing. I was actually talking to my friend the other day about it, and she was texting me. She's like, "I'm so hungry I could eat a horse." Like, to me.
Good timing.
And
Do you have a question? Faith has a question. Okay, good. So fine. You don't have to put buttons. We already reviewed that a while ago. Okay?
Miss Middlesky. Don't be as
Middlesky, why don't you
close as me.
Why don't you like put them right?
I have them in a separate spot in the gym and removed them on Friday. I gotta use them. So remember, puns are when it's a play on words. So you make it funny. Like if I made a joke, I'm like, oh, I'm so punny. Okay. You guys. Okay. Quick review on ethos, logos, and pathos. Remember, pathos is emotion, passion. Okay. So something like this might be something that makes you feel sad in a certain way, okay, or makes you feel something, so you do something. Tom's shoes. You guys know what Toms are? Okay, they give a pair of shoes away to every pair of shoes that is bought by them to a kid in need. That's appealing to your emotion, right? Like, I'm going to choose these shoes because they give shoes away to kids in need. They're appealing to your emotions. Logic, okay, statistics, facts, reasonable arguments, a jury, and a lawyer. If a lawyer showed up to court and talked about how sad they were about this defendant, probably wouldn't convict him, right? A lawyer would use logic. Ethos is credibility and trust. Okay, quotes from professionals, customer reviews, celebrity endorsements. All right, so for example, if you guys were acting like just straight crazies, and I brought Mr. Palmer in here to like talk to you guys about your behavior, that might be a little bit of like a credibility boost, right? You should probably get in shape. But you guys would never do that to me. No, because I would lose my stuff. And you know that.
I'm in your class now, so.
You'll be fine, kiddo.
Taste that as a challenge.
No, because you don't. Caleb can verify. You don't want to mess with me when I get.
I know I was in here one tutorial and somebody backtalked you.
Yes. Yes. I know how to say my grammar well. Okay, ready for this one? Look at the board. How on earth do you pronounce this? Anyone have an idea? Rowan, Reagan, it.
Onomatopoeia.
What?
Wait, what does that even say?
Johnny. Close. Yeah, Nick?
Oh, Hypophoria?
Close. Daniel? Close. Rowan? Okay, ready? Hypopera. Say it with me. Hypopera! Nailed it. Okay. Hypopera is a common technique in which people start a speech. They ask a question. Okay, sit up. They ask a question and then they answer it. Okay. So, you guys know the famous is from Hamlet. To be or not to be? That is the question. Then he goes on to answer his question.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do that sometimes. I'm like, why would we be doing this today, kids? And I look at you like you guys are going to give me an answer, but you don't. And then I answer my own question. That's hypopera. Okay? So, like, here's an example. Do you know the difference between education and experience? Education is when you read the fine print. Experience is what you get when you don't. So, it's a question that is posed, and then the question is answered. John, are you taking notes? I don't see you typing at all. Good. So, any question on hypopera? Why would it be used? It typically grabs the audience, right? If you consistently ask questions and then answer them. Or if you can predict what your audience is going to be questioning, you can answer it that way. So if you're like, sometimes I'll be like, hey, they're going to have some big questions on this concept. I might pose some questions. Can I move on?
I'm still typing.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have to worry about taking that some. I'll get you copies of someone else's, okay? Okay, for sure. Alright, parallelism. This is a difficult concept, so look at the board. Okay? There are two we're going to go over. Repetition, which is just the repeating of words, right? So if a word is repeated or a phrase is repeated, that's repetition. Obviously, it means something important. I constantly repeat things to you guys, right? When I want you to think something's important. Okay, parallelism is repetition, but it's very specific. It's the repetition of a similar grammatical structure. Okay? So, something like, if you constantly see words such as ing, or a list, think of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, which we're reading tomorrow. He constantly says at the beginning of each paragraph, I have a dream that. I have a dream that. I have a dream that. Okay? Is that repetition? Yes. But it's also parallelism because it's the repetition of a similar grammatical structure. So at the beginning of each paragraph, he says, I have a dream. Does that make sense? The difference between the two? Okay. So it's important because it adds emphasis to ideas of equal importance. So if I said something like, I went to the store and then I went home, that's the same grammatical structure, right? I went to the store and then I went home. If I said I went home and then to the store, you're not giving it the same importance.
So like make America great and make America strong again.
Yes. Yes. That's parallelism. Okay? It's the same grammatical structure repeated. Great job. Okay? You guys got it. Oxymoron. Okay? This is a term coined by Shakespeare. So, oxymoron is when two terms are placed next to each other or in a similar sentence. Like, you guys, I know this is a cute baby. Okay?
You lost it.
So, oxymoron, two words that contradict each other but make sense. So, if I said jumbo shrimp, you take them apart separately if they don't make sense that they're together. Okay? A shrimp can't be jumbo. Same thing, clearly misunderstood. If you're misunderstood, it can't be clear. But together they make sense. Okay? Sweet sorrow. Sadness can't be sweet. Loving hate, it doesn't make sense. A giant baby, that doesn't make sense, does it? When they're together, though, it makes an effect that makes it sound like it's super dramatic. Okay? Can I have a head nod for, yeah, I got oxymoron? Got it, Sheridan? Okay. You got it. Brock's got it. Oh, did you guys see the sign? Dry Creek Water Park. Get how it's an oxymoron? A creek can't be dry, and it's also a water park. What's the irony? What's up, Nate? Okay, we have 1 more minute. I'm going to try to get through them, okay? Tone is the author's attitude towards the subject. You guys know this. Okay? So how does the author feel towards a topic? I will say sometimes you're having a tone with me. That means you have an attitude towards what we're talking about or me. Right? I don't get too happy with that. That's it. Okay? Any questions on any of these?
There's no submit.
No, it's for you, for tomorrow. We're doing an assignment that you're going to need to know these. Okay? So, make sure you have access to it tomorrow. Go in and clean up, and you guys are done. Juliana, you can go on. Huh? Listen, I just did a random chart.
Oh.
I didn't count. I don't do math.
You're supposed to put in something.
No, so you didn't have it in your drive for tomorrow.
I just had it in Google
That's
Docs.
fine, so as long as you can access it tomorrow.
I heard stuff, people talking about stuff from I was like, am I supposed to be putting this in something?
Oh.
I have it in Google Docs.
Go back to modules.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you were doing this. Okay, so you need to either copy and paste that into Google Docs. I'll do it later.
Okay, well,
I don't want you to lose that. Alright, you guys can clean up and leave. Okay, hurry up and go.
That's rude.
You're rude, rude.
I tried.
Dang.
Bam. No! That's something that no one else gets. I get it.
Separate.
Sorry,
Good job.
Jules is not here right now.
What is that?
Nice. Vomit.
Absolutely.
Why don't I look at the content?
It's the baby!
I was just telling her when you walked in the room on Friday.
My ears are bleeding.
okay, so what was it?
What's your noise? Oh, perhaps. You haven't heard it.
Yeah, Julie, you said
Hi to Johnny? You said hi to Johnny?
this hurts.
That's why I
Julie wants me to blast a certain song, but this is
a bell. You don't always go like, you get married, Belle. When's your birthday?
I'm not talking to her.
Yeah. When is it?
Oh, you haven't seen me yet, have you?
dipping.
Hey, Rowan.
What?
Reagan.
What? Yeah, okay. So I get to go get my nails done.
Oh wait, what are you dipping? Dipping what and what?